I can't really make the argument that it's just one loop the entire song because honestly, that's most Playboi Carti songs. But I just don't think this song knocks as hard as people say it does. Hello, today I've gathered a bunch of popular and beloved rappers, and I'm going to be going through my most overrated and most underrated song from each of them. Admittedly, the underrated section, a lot of the songs are kind of just properly rated, but that's between us. I'm going to start with the overrated track, so if I piss you off, you can click off the video before I get into the underrated tracks. Power is a song that I've always liked but never felt like deserved all the credit it got. It's a good track and it's very grandiose, but I feel like it's more grandiose than it actually should be. It's a pivotal point in My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasies track list, and it makes sense why it got so popular. You know, it's very energetic, it has a great beat. But I just always felt like there was something off about it. Like, it felt like so purposefully manufactured to this album, which is a gripe I have with a lot of My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy now. But if you call me crazy for this one, I can understand where you're coming from. It is a hype song. I just feel like it is not as good as a lot of people say, and the concept isn't as deep as people make it out to be. Okay, so some people say this song's underrated, so I don't know whether this belongs here or not, but the reason it's here is because the beat. It's the same loop for the whole 3 minutes of the song. Even though Kendrick's flow towards the end of the track is incredible, and lyrically it's a fantastic track, the beat just becomes annoying to me. The first few times I listened to it, I really liked it. It was an enjoyable little jazz loop, but now I can't stand it. Let me know if anyone else agrees with me on this one. So for a lot of these songs, I tried to go with picks that are beloved by the fan base itself. However, this one is more a popularity case. This is one of A$AP Rocky's most popular songs, and obviously with a Drake feature, that's bound to happen. Now, I really loved this song when it came out, and it was a lot of fun, and I still think it's a lot of fun. I just think it's aged pretty horribly. Maybe it still goes hard in like the club or something, but for me personally, it just doesn't hit the same way it used to. Marvin's Room is a song that I never really understood the hype for. And you may say, well, you've never had your heart broken, and that's why you don't understand the song. I just don't think that's the case. I think there are way better alternatives to this song. Even in the hip-hop genre, which isn't like a super romantic genre, this just comes off as Drake whining to me. And maybe it's a gripe I have with Drake's personality, but I don't usually have that gripe with other songs in this bag. I don't even really think this song is bad. It's just so boring. The singing's mid, the beat is mid, the lyrics are mid. I can understand people liking it from a relatability standpoint, but I just think it's so basic and like cookie cutter with what it's talking about that it's obviously so easy to relate to. It was kind of hard to pick an overrated track for Drake though, because he has a lot, but I have to say I like Drake for the most part, and it was hard to pick an underrated song too. Yeah, so I think general fan consensus would probably agree with me for this J. Cole pick. I do really like the concept of the song with him being the middle child between the new school and the old school. It's a really creative concept, but the beat itself feels like it needed like an extra boost to really push the message forward, and we just didn't get that. And that's a gripe I have with a lot of J. Cole's music, and why I feel like people argue that he doesn't have a classic album. Is his rapping is always good, and I always enjoy what he has to say, but sometimes the production is just so boring that it can't help push him over the edge. If he got better production and features, I think J. Cole would easily be a top rapper in the game. Okay, Denzel was really hard to pick for because I feel like his discography is so great that he doesn't really have anything overrated. And I absolutely loved this song when it came out. I played it a billion times, and that probably has a little bit to do with my choice. But Clout Cobain today just sounds so dated and a product of its time that I can't really enjoy it anymore. And I feel like that's a common theme with Taboo. And that was like my album of the year when it came out. But going back and re-listening to it, it's aged really poorly in my opinion, unlike Denzel's other work. But anyway, I used to love the song. I just think it's overrated now. Okay, alright. This is the one that people will probably click off the video, but let me explain. The first minute and a half of the song about is just so boring, and I feel like it doesn't even really do a good job building into the tension of what you're about to get in the second half when Thugger and Bieber come in. And when they come in, the song turns fantastic, like 9 or 10 out of 10 song for me. But I feel like he could have just started the song from that point. I do get what Travis was doing, trying to build the tension of the song, but I just feel like it doesn't really work in this instance, and the beginning's just really boring to me. That's why I think this song's super overrated. Okay, another one people are gonna get pissed off at me for. I can't really make the argument that it's just one loop the entire song, because honestly, that's most Playboi Carti songs. But I just don't think this song knocks as hard as people say it does. It's definitely catchy, it's an earworm, it'll get stuck in your head, but I had this song hyped up to me as if it were like the banger of all bangers, and it's just not. Lean for Real, Shoota, Long Time, all way better songs than this one. And I don't think this one should be talked about in the same conversations, to be honest. Okay, so this is one where I just based it on popularity, because I don't think there's any true Lil Wayne fans that actually think this song is really good to the masses. This song is just not good. I love the Carter 3. It's one of my favorite rap albums of all time, but this could have easily been left off it. I guess you could say it's fun, but for me it's just annoying. Okay, Tyler, out of everyone on this list, was probably the hardest rapper for me to choose. Just looking through his discography, especially his new albums, it made it really difficult for me to make a decision. And I'm also not that familiar with his older catalog, because as far as I'm aware, it's just not really worth going back to. But after going back to it, I noticed Yonkers is probably the most overrated song he has. It's cool, like it's fine, but knowing the Tyler we know today, we know he can do so much better than this. Even in a dark hip-hop bag, he could do better than this. Also, I'm pretty sure Tyler himself said he hates the song, so I don't regret putting this here. Okay, JID was another tough one to choose because he has so many great songs and not a lot of bad ones. But I feel like Ofties has a similar fate as Clout Cobain, where it's just aged really bad. Obviously, none of us really like the lyrical miracle fast rap anymore, ever since Eminem and Eminem clones have taken over the world in like the past 10 years or so. Ofties is impressive for sure and has a fantastic J. Cole verse, but I just think it's so fast-paced, like too fast-paced for its own good, that it makes the song kind of mid. I don't know. That's my opinion. Okay, we're done with the overrated, so let's move into the good. And like I said, a lot of these are probably just properly rated. I don't know how underrated they really are. I'm not on Reddit as much as you guys. Kanye was difficult because he doesn't really have any underrated songs. Most people that are Kanye fans and pretty much know the entire discography. So I had 3 options: Jesus Lord, Celebration, and Last Call. Last Call has some of his best rapping, Celebration has one of his best beats, and Jesus Lord has some of his best rapping in his new era. I literally couldn't pick one. Those are the 3 that I came up with. Let me know if you agree. For Kendrick, I went with Untitled 06. I feel like Untitled and Unmastered in general is a really underrated record, and just because it's a bunch of throwaways with like no real song titles, that's kind of just the reason people don't check it out. But even the people that do, I never see anyone talk about this song, and the CeeLo Green feature is so good. It's so jazzy and groovy, the hook is catchy, and obviously you get nice rapping performances from Kendrick. For Kid Cudi, I could have went a lot of different avenues because I'm a big fan, and despite his really shaky catalog, I think he has some gems in his bad album. One of those is Brothers with Chip the Ripper and A$AP Rocky. The A$AP Rocky feature on this song is ridiculous. Absolutely just steals the show on this song. Chip the Ripper always does this thing when he collabs with Kid Cudi, and the beat is really enjoyable too. It's one of the few off Indica that just sounds like a normal braggadocious rap song, and Cudi's not really trying to do too much, so I enjoy it for that. A$AP Rocky, okay, correct me if I'm wrong because this song might be more popular than it actually is, but it didn't have a lot of streams on Spotify, but I went with Palace, and I know Live Love A$AP was just recently added to Spotify, so that's why it probably didn't have a lot of streams. However, I looked it up on YouTube too, and it still didn't really have that many views. The beat on this song is absolutely incredible. It's for the whole cloud rap sort of thing started for A$AP Rocky, at least, and the flows are so catchy. It shows you the potential of A$AP Rocky, and just going back through his catalog, I wish he would release this album, man. He's been gone for too long. For Drake, I went with You Only Live Twice off of Certified Lover Boy. Despite that album being absolutely terrible, there is a gem at the end of the record, which is this song. It features Rick Ross and Lil Wayne, and that's primarily the reason it's on here, but it also has a really nice pitched up sort of chipmunk soul beat. So yeah, I really enjoyed this song. Like I said, it's hard to pick for Drake because he's got such a big catalog, and honestly, I've never listened to his entire catalog, so. J. Cole is one of the rare artists that I feel like his most popular songs are usually his best. But looking at streaming numbers, 100 mil isn't that popular. And personally, I think it's a really good song. People have issues with the auto-tune and his singing, but I actually really enjoy it. The Boz feature is kind of useless. I'll admit he doesn't really add anything to the song. However, I really enjoyed the melodic flows and singing and hook from J. Cole on this song. So for me, it's one of his most underrated tracks. Denzel, again, really hard to pick an underrated song because a lot of his catalog is just underrated in general. But this Smell of Death song is really good. It's very obviously a nod, an influence of MF Doom. But the beat is so much fun. It's really short, so it doesn't overstay its welcome. And I really love Denzel's flow over the track and the sort of pitches he was working with his voice on this song. Okay, Travis Scott, one of the most popular artists in the game. Really hard to pick a underrated track when you have an artist this popular. But ultimately, I went with Schizo. I just feel like it didn't get enough love when Utopia came out and still doesn't really get enough love. The beginning of this song is kind of just whatever. The Young Thug feature's cool, and I really liked it when it came out, but it's kind of grown off me. However, this is one of those songs that just gets better the deeper you go down to it. Especially that final sample on the song is absolutely incredible, and Travis is rapping amazingly towards the end of that track. So yeah, hard artist to pick for, but that's what I went with. Metamorphosis is ridiculously underrated. I've seen people say they hate it. They think Cudi and Cardi didn't mesh at all, but I have to completely disagree. This is easily one of the best beats on Whole Lotta Red. Love the synths and the aggressive 808s in the background. Plus, Cardi's voice sounds amazing over this rage beat and over Kid Cudi's hums. I think it's an amazing song. It's one of my favorite songs off that record and maybe my favorite Playboi Carti song. Okay, so I initially wasn't even going to put this on here because I just assumed it was one of Lil Wayne's most popular tracks. However, this does not have a lot of streams on Spotify. I can see how people would look at Babyface and Lil Wayne on a song and think it might be dated just from looking at that. But when you actually listen to this song, it sounds absolutely timeless. Babyface feature is amazing. I love his singing on the hook. And Lil Wayne is hilarious in the verses. The song itself is just so enjoyable. The Kanye beat is one of his best and I think most underrated beats. If you've never heard this Comfortable song, you gotta go listen to it. Tyler, once again, hard to pick an underrated song, especially since I'm not that familiar with the early part of his catalog. This song to me is just really enjoyable. The beat remains relatively the same all the way through, but it's kind of has like bossa nova elements to it, which might be a weird thing to say, but I loved hearing Tyler's vision of like his perfect life and how he was able to build it, and just like being this character, having everything he wants. It's very triumphant, and it's something I think is really cool. Jid, I could have picked something off the Never story. I could have picked something off DiCaprio too, but ultimately I went with Money off the Forever story. Obviously, thankfully, that record got all the hype it deserved and was one of the most popular rap albums of 2022. But I feel like Money kind of gets overshadowed by the other hits on that record. The flip of the sample is fantastic, super catchy with these like choir kids singing in the background. Jid obviously does his thing over it, and yeah, I just really like the beat, the production, and the flow choices over Money. Thank you guys for watching. Did you agree? Did you disagree? Let me know in the comments what your most underrated and overrated records are. Please like and subscribe. It really helps the channel, and I'll be able to produce more videos like this for you guys. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.